So I see a lot of complaints in the forums and otherwise about just all kinds of noises, popping noises, banging noises, all kinds of noises in the front end up here. And this one also had it. This is a '06 Fusion, and I've changed a few things on it here and there, and eliminated a few things like the stab links right there in the front, and everything up here in the lower control arms looks great. And you know, subframe's not cracked. There's problems with cracking subframes. There's all kinds of problems. Nothing else is loose up here. The engine mount was bad. I changed a few things on it, and I'm still getting a banging noise, quite loud banging noise. It's something that you cannot mistake, and you should not be able to miss by doing an inspection underneath the front end. And you'd bet your life on it that it was coming from the right front, guaranteed, pinpointed every time it happens. One other thing I found while I was underneath here, which is not causing the noise, is the actual bushing inside of the dog bone here for the torque strut here is worn out too, and that could cause banging if it's hitting the body because it moves so much. So then I started looking at the driver's side and looking at all the same exact components and all that stuff. And because noise can transfer through from one side to the other, a lot of times you hear bearing noises, you bet your life it's left front, and in all reality, you get up in the lift, you start driving it on a lift and spinning up to speed, and you could hear it obviously is over there and it's not over here. So noises can transfer through the subframe and all that. So I took it for a drive with those stab links removed, because it sounds like a popping noise, loud banging popping noise, only when the wheels are turned and you're loading up one side of the car on a decent turn. I mean, the car's weight's got to really transfer to one side, and then you come back from that weight transfer and then it pops. So I decided to start looking at the rear to make sure I do a thorough inspection of all kinds of suspension components on here that can possibly transfer noise. Like I said, you're like, oh my God, it's definitely in the right front, definitely in the right front, no question about it. The customer did say he sounded like it was in the rear, which of course he has more time to experience the noise than I do. So I started looking at the rear also after I fixed the components up front that I knew were bad, as in previous videos. And I started looking at the rear. Everything's fine. Yeah, there's a lot of rust. So what I did find over here on the right hand side is the stab link actually had separated, and usually when stab links separate, especially in the front, they'll just flop to the side. You get a nice clunk noise. You may not get no noise at all. It depends on where they fall, if they're going to hit each other, the actual bar and the stab link. Now also in the front you may get them broken and then they touch certain times, whereas this one, they're so short, there's so much tension on them that this one's actually rubbing on, the ball is rubbing on the actual outside metal housing here. So we're going to go ahead, and this is an easy test in case you come back here and find this and you're wondering, obviously we got to change it, but you're wondering if that's all the noise up front is coming from the rear actually. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this off, throw it away, and this thing can just freewheel here. We can go over that same turn and we can listen to make sure that noise is totally gone before we even change it out. And the only thing I can think of is that is going through the frame, the lower arm to the rear subframe here, and it's just transferring through the body. You can't see it under the tank there, but the actual unibody here to the front, and that's where we're hearing it, because it does sound like you hit like a boulder right here when you're driving. So we're gonna go for a test drive. We're gonna see if it's gone or not. Now the best way to get one of these off that are broken is to actually put a vice grips on the ball part right there, and then you can get a actual gear wrench on this side and loosen it, and it should come right out as long as you spray a little rust penetrant on there. And because there's tight clearances right here, and then we can get that out of there. And I'll show you exactly what it was doing and why it sounded so loud. Basically, this was attached to the sway bar itself, and then it was either down here, and then enough torsion was on it when I turned, and it would go up, and then I'd go back the other way, and it would fall back down. So it's going past this ear right here almost. You can see I was riding on it, and it was putting a lot of pressure on it, even when it was down like this, sitting there. This whole bushing was actually tweaked in there because the sway bar was pushing on it so bad. So you can see if it's so much tension on there already, and then we're forcing it past with the weight of the vehicle, basically, it's gonna pressure, pop. You go back the other way, pressure, pop, and it's gonna make that noise. And then when sway bars have popping noises of any kind, even from looseness from the actual bushings on them, it's bolted to the body, so it really puts the noise into the unibody or the subframe, and it makes the noise a lot worse than it should be. So that's a good thing to remember about sway bars. They can actually, their bushings on there, they can make a lot of noise. Alright guys, so I already tested it once already here, and results are good. I want to show you what conditions it happens under. If I do a U-turn to the left, it did it, and then a left-hand turn with some bumps, it would do it. Backing out of my stall, it would do it. Once it did it. That was after the, it was up in the air, so the suspension fully drooped, and then it went back up. And it all makes sense. Let's see, right here I do a U-turn, right? It would do it. Yeah, pretty good U-turn. Pretty sharp. And then I go over here, it's might be a little bumpy. See this patch of road right here? And make a nice swooping turn like that over those little patches in the road. And because, the weight got transferred to the right-hand side of the car, it would make that noise. And it was a loud noise, goes right through the body and reverberates out, and it sounds like you hit a boulder. I cannot stress it enough. It's not a clunk noise. And I could be going down the road straight without loading one side of the suspension up, go over some nice rumble strips, I guess you could call them. I could go over some potholes, even on that side, and nothing. Whereas if you do a full body roll and weight transfer, you're going to get that the actual popping noise. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. Like I said, I was fighting this noise in the right front, and sometimes even it sounded like it was in the left front, but it was definitely in the right front every time. And it sounded more like a unibody hit type deal, like a boulder, like I was saying. And it's not like a regular light clunk. It was loud, and it definitely sounded like something was under tension, and then it popped. Well, sway bars are just that. They're basically torsion bars, and they're made to flex and provide pressure down to the other side and to the other side to stop body roll. So if they're doing their job and one side's getting loaded up and the other side's loose like that, it can actually slip past it and pop like that. And then once you straighten out, it comes back up past that ear on the link. It can pop also. So I'm not going to do a video on how to change them out. It's 2 bolts and it pops right out. And but I did a lot of research over the weekend, and I just just to see, because like I said, I was concentrating the right front, and a lot of people are going to be doing that. And every once in a while, these noises in these cars, they throw you for a loop. And there's a lot of posts out there on the Fusion forums, Zephyrs, and all that, Milans and all that. It's all the same car. And there's no resolution out there. There's no replies back to what happened. And a lot of people go, well, I don't know. The guy said to live with it. The car's like that. And then this, there's all these other responses out there, and it's definitely not normal. Mine was extreme, but yours can definitely be starting back there to come loose, whereas this one fully came loose and made that extreme noise under load. And it'll be definitely on left-hand turns because it's on the right-hand side. And it just traveled through the unibody, I guess. And what I did while I'm waiting for the part here, it's going to be here in another hour or two, I wrapped the end of that stab link, the sway bar, with a shop rag and a zip ties, so it has some cushion to it because it's so close. The link's only like this, you know, this long. So if I load that side, I could still hit. It'd be a different noise, but I'd rather be no noise, go over that bump a couple of times, and that I could do it every time before. And if I go over it, you know, 4 or 5 times, just like I showed in the video, and it's not doing it, obviously that's the fix. The other side is not popped out. The other side is not loose. It's not binding. Nothing. So we're just changing to one side, and we should get this car back up and running for on the cheap. They're around $35 each. It ain't too bad. So I just wanted to share this information because there's a lot of noise complaints out there in the web with no resolution, and these cars are getting some age on them now, being 06s, and this one's got 120,000 miles on it. And the rust, if you're living in the Rust Belt, the rust seems to hit these cars really hard. So I just want to share this information, what I found.